the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a video review on a cracking little inflatable tent from Vango. This here is the Vango Valencia 600 XL. So it is a really nice 6-person inflatable tent, something that was launched first in 2019 and going into its second season now in 2020. There's been a few sort of updates ready for the new season. So first and foremost, we've got a higher front beam, so it's the same height as the rest of it now, which I really helps to make it flow and also give you a lot more interior sort of space. It feels certainly space in that sort of front section for sort of cooking, whatever you want to do with it really. Generally, the floor plan of it is exactly the same, and everything we've known and loved with Valencia in the previous year still carries on into the 2020 season. One big also change is the fact that we've also now benefited with a much darker bedroom. So we've got a much more darker bedroom on it, again, to try and make yourself sleep in or sleep the kids in a little bit longer if you will. Each beam is done individually, and you can see how quick and easy it is to do via our Attwoolls pitching videos. So this tent I've done on my own in about sort of 10 to 11 minutes, which this size is brilliant. So it gives you the flexibility to go away for a short weekend or a long week if you wanted to, without having to worry about the hassle of putting it all up. So that's definitely worth checking out on our website or our YouTube channel. This is using Vango's sort of Dura fabric, so it's a fabric that they've designed to be, as the name suggests, more durable. It's something that they've concentrated on getting a very consistent weave throughout the material to mean there's no sort of weak points, and the addition of having colour lock in there preserves the life appearance of the fabric, just make it look that much sharper for that much longer as well. So that's something that certainly we've seen quite a bit really for the from last season, the duration of that, how it's actually worked out. It does actually work, which is quite a nice thing to report back. Generally, you've got nice PVC windows as well, but also things like low level ventilation. So little vents down here to help sort of give you a flow of air, to help sort of fight condensation and keep it sort of fresher inside the tent. You've got a rain safe canopy door in the side here, and also what you'll find is it allows you to walk to and fro it more happily. You've got your mesh door located there as well, so you can have ventilation through the side door and not have to worry about if suddenly you get a spell of bad weather, that it's all going to come suddenly flooding in the tent. One thing we'll talk about when we get inside of that is kind of the layout we've got in the tent. So you've got obviously a nice living sort of awning area, a main living area, actual sleeping area, and then a small little back storage area which makes this model stand out from anything else on the market. The front door is obviously now you can happily roll it halfway or fully open. Alternatively, there is the second zipper on here to allow a bit of air. Let's just move that little point. So you can get a bit of air circulating into the tent without having sort of too much, if you will. It just allows to flow quite nicely. Webbing storm strap on the front and back give you really good strong tension. And yet again, you've got some nice guy ropes, aluminum guy ropes, just to give that extra bit of support. So there's plenty going on with the tent, and I think actually I really do love the blue colour, especially in kind of like twilight. It just looks very rich and very sort of, I suppose, quite, I want to say pucker, but not really. It's very smart. It's probably what I want to say really. Vango's airspeed valve system. So you've got the airspeed. The pump actually physically locks on. And again, you can always check out our own little tutorial videos about the valve and how it works uniquely in comparison to other models on the market. But overall, nice little tent. We'll have a look at what hidden gems are on the inside. So now we're inside the Valencia, you can kind of get a bit more of an idea for certainly the layout we have inside the tent, but also kind of the spatial sort of areas and features that we can see. So we'll sort of work from the canopy at the front area, sort of the front awning if you will, back into the living area and work our way across. So we've got a really nice sort of depth canopy here. You can actually see you put tables and chairs or something like that and use this area as quite a functional cooking or wet storage space. Nice big windows to get clarity on both sides so you can get plenty of light in, but you've also got privacy curtains on the awning, which is not always what you find with most models. We've got toggle up privacy curtains, and there's two positions for the privacy curtains to be in, so you can either have it sort of halfway like we have here, or yet again you can just toggle that up fully more than happily, and it blends quite nicely in with the Skyliner itself, so you can get a bit of privacy when you want to. The offset door works really well because it means you, rather than having a centralized door, you've got plenty of area to butt things up to and from, so you can put storage units on the other side or a cooking unit on the outside, so that in itself in the design works out really nicely. The mesh, obviously, ventilation point between the sort of canopy area and then living area allows for air to flow through it, so on a warm day circulation is more key than ever, especially with tents now. Even when it's raining, condensation has become a real bugbear over since sort of sewn-in ground sheets have been a thing. The key is making sure you've got low level ventilation, so ventilation beneath the windows to help airflow like I was talking about on the outside, but also on the inside, air flowing from out the back all the way through the tent to get it nice and fresh inside. You've got things like points for cable points outside, so if you wanted to run, say, a lantern or something on there, you can run the cable across to a little toggle point located on the beam itself, which is quite unique as well. You've got the main living area, which sounds quite ample. You can happily put sort of tables and chairs in here without any problems, and there's an additional bedroom you can buy, a universal one, to fit in this section here, so it'll give you kind of a cordon off 8th bedroom, you know, to sleep an extra 2 people. Something you would probably do during the daytime, you would take it down, put it in with the rest of the bedding and store it out that way if you really wanted to. But for night time, it gives that flexibility. If you've got any guests staying, pop them in there, accommodate them, and then deal with the mess come the morning. Obviously, the door on the left hand side here with that mesh, as we saw from the outside, again helps that kind of method and that sort of message of sort of airflow throughout it. Features that are built into this model, which you probably don't see very often, is Vango's own Skytrak system. So there's a little beading which is stitched into the inside of the beams to give you hanging points for lanterns anywhere along the beams, or alternatively fixation points to put sort of flexibility lights in, or even storage units you can hang down there, and that works really quite well. But you can check out our own Attwoolls sort of Skyhook video and about the Skytrak system and how all that works via our YouTube channel and our Facebook. Moving on into probably one of the biggest additions which talked about for the 2020 season is dark bedrooms. It's what a lot of people have been asking for, and it's something that Vango have certainly listened to and put in for the range. So the joys of this particular model is the fact that you've got a slightly deeper bed, well, it's the same depth bedroom as you would find normally. The difference with most models is where the material slopes off, normally you struggle to fit an airbed back that point because of the slope. With this, because you've got a completely flat back, it means you can put a high-rise airbed in here, no problem. Camp beds, it doesn't restrict what you can go just because the depth is a normal depth of a tent. And yet again, with the ability of toggle dividers between the sections to give you flexibility between having it as a 2, 2 and a 2, or a 4 and a 2, that works really well. What you've also got as well is, like I said, the most sort of unique point about this particular model is that back storage section. So you've got a whole section behind here, which you can put sort of like a small porta toilet, or a lot of people sort of dogs' beds, any sort of, you know, the clutter out your bag, so anything you're carting things into from your home to the campsite on, out there, out of sight, out of mind. There's also a rear door as well, so again on a warm day you can have that rear door open, allow airflow all the way through the tent to make it feel a lot cooler in here, and that does make a big difference, especially with the summers we've been having in the UK recently. If you want to, you could buy some additional king poles and mock up a little canopy out the back of there. That would work really well, and again help you if the weather was to turn. It just gives you a bit more shelter from that back door. But overall, it's a really impressive model, certainly one that's done very well for the 2019 season. I can see it only getting better, especially when you look at all this and it's remained the same price point. So you're getting obviously a taller beam, darkened bedrooms, all for what you were paying last year, which I think is makes it even better value model really. And last year I thought it was, you know, for the size of tent you've got and the ease to put up, I thought price point wise it was very, very keen. It's normally one we try and have up our indoor display showroom in Gloucestershire, so we've got about best part of 40 tents on display down there, all inside. It's worth probably having a trip down to see it and compare it to other models, because I think it is a key factor in that rear storage. It's kind of hard to explain a little bit via camera, but seeing is quite believing sometimes. Other features that are kind of also in the tent as such are cable entry points. So you've got a low level cable entry point located down here, so you can have the mains hook up into the tent without having to leave the door open the whole time. Also Vango's TBS system, so it's an internal bracing system for the stronger weather. It's not something that a lot of people ever tend to use. In fact, most people don't even know it exists, let alone use it. So it's there to use as and when you want to, but it allows you in higher winds to give that a bit more sort of A-frame kind of style structure in the tent itself. But overall, I think I love the updates for the 2020 season. I think it's listened to what a lot of people were asking for, and like I said before, I think in terms of value wise, it sort of ticks that box to make it sort of that much in terms of the layout. I think interesting enough, it's going to run about a similar sort of, the one model in the Vango range is very similar to, it's the Rome 600, which I think, to be honest, I would probably, it's a toss-up. Come and have a look in the shop, that's probably the best way of saying it, between those two models. But check out that video as well, and let us know what you think of the tent. Comment below, or if you need be, you can always inquire with us directly on our website, as well as our sort of Facebook and YouTube channels. But yeah, that is our little video review on the Vango Valencia 600 XL.